tonight.
Okay, one participant. So sad. Okay. Where's the article? My WhatsApp screen. We'll just do first things first, I would say.
No problem. Look, there's expensive ads out there that could be really worth our while. Actually,
Hi, Howie. How you doing?
Last time.
How are you?
Good. How about you?
Okay, good.
How's everything?
All right, good, good. So how was it back at shul?
It's good. It's nice. It's good to be back. It's a little different. It's a little further for me, but I'm getting a little walking in, a little more exercising than I've been used to.
Right.
It was funny on Shabbos. I met the Rav came over, Rav Eichenstein. He came over to introduce himself and say hi, and he asked me if I'm visiting because I don't normally go there. And he saw I was schwitzing like crazy. And I told him where I came, you know, that I'm local and I come from Edgewater to Lincolnwood. And he's like, oh, you got to get this guy some water. He's coming from this far. It's kind of funny.
Wow, that's a schlep. How far of a walk? How much of a walk is it?
About 3.5 miles.
That's a.
We had a rain, so it got a little sticky. You know that feeling from the weather there lately, right?
The muggy.
So yeah, right. So
got it.
Still, I'm all for it as long as I can get back, you know.
So you walk both ways on Shabbos itself, or you?
Yeah, I mean, I went for Shacharis, and then I went back for Mincha Ma'ariv, and then for a couple for Mincha Ma'ariv on Friday night.
So you drove there, Mincha Ma'ariv?
Usually it's a little less, but still. No, I got rid of my car like 4 years ago because when I'd go to work, I'd either work close to where I live or go downtown and there's no parking. So I usually would take the train or the bus down there. So my car was really just sitting in the garage. So it took me a few years to get the courage to actually get rid of the car. And it's been almost 4 years now since. So I took the bus to Shul on the way there.
Right, and you were able to take a bus back after on Shabbos? How do you get back after Shabbos?
Yes. So afterward, it worked. After Shabbos, it kind of worked out better than normal because right now, because of coronavirus, they block off the part, like the main part, the front of the bus. So they're not charging for the bus. And you get on in the So I was able to just walk to the station, which is close by, and do that. So just a matter of, because Shabbos late, some of the buses already are done, with their routes.
Right.
So I take a little longer route, but better than walking back for the fifth time,
Got it. Great. All right. I'll tell you what, let's see if maybe we'll learn a little bit, if that's okay.
Yeah. Sounds great. Let me get the.
What I need to know is, there's nobody here that can put me on where I can stream it onto Facebook.
Oh, I'm not sure that I know much about that.
No, because I have to claim host, but I don't have I can't claim host. So I'm just going to send a quick message to
Or whatever for that. Because the most is up in the upper right-hand corner.
No, I think it does.
Let me see if I do. Oh, it asks for a password.
Right. No, so I don't have any.
Don't have. They don't give that info.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's learn a little bit. I was hoping that I could do that also, but that's okay. So we are. So let me just tell you like a couple little things. I posted something. Oh, let me just do this smaller. It's a little bit more.
Let me grab my glasses. Sorry.
Fine. How the two Yaakos doing? How you guys doing? A little busy. Okay.
Doing good. I'm listening. I'm here.
No problem. Yeah, so I'll just a couple of short words I wanted to say, and then we'll maybe do the text. First of all, I saw a very interesting thing just now. I don't know, Sfat Shem is such an outstanding sefer. It's just like whatever. It's so it's such a powerful sefer. He says that the famous Zohar that says the famous Zohar that says that Yisrael Chadhu, right? That the Torah and Hashem and Klal Yisrael are all one. And he said a pshat, and I love these sort of pshatim because then you can like take it into your weekly avoda. We say in Mincha on Shabbos afternoon, Ata Kadosh, V'Shimcha Kadosh, V'im Umika Amcha Yisrael Goyach. I'm sorry, Ata Echad, V'Shimcha Echad, Umika Amcha Yisrael Goyach Baritz. Right? You're one. Oh, so let me do that. Thank you. So if let's see. Let me just pause on this, and therefore I should be able to. I should be able to.
He's looking for the more.
Yeah. I just putting it on. Put it in. Sorry. Let me see if I can get this going. Next, great. Okay, almost there. Sorry, Rabos. I just wanted to get this. Okay, I should be. Hope this is good. Yeah, are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, no, not yet. Go live. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to delay things. I'm going to do this. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Okay, sorry, Rosai. Should be happening. So again, we have over here so it says Ata Kadosh, Shimcha Kadosh. Can anybody see if I'm live over there?
Yeah, you're live.
Thank you so much. Okay. Ata Kadosh Shimcha Kadosh Mikam Kadosh. I'm sorry. Ata Echad You are one, your name is one, and who's like your people, who's the one people in the land. So he says that this is the reflection of what the Zohar says. Hashem is one, and the Torah is one, because he says when it says your name is one, the name that it says when it says that your name is one, sorry, that means the Torah, because the Torah is all the names of Hashem. All the letters are really different ways of working the names of Hashem, arranged in a certain way. So when it says you are one and your name is one, the name is your Torah. Okay, that's one thing. I just wanted to say, just as an aside, I wanted to give one short thing, and then we'll look into the piece. I heard a cute word, but it's one of these like half cute and half very true words. We know the famous medrash that tells us, the Gemara tells us, and that Hashem had the Torah and he wanted to give it to the world, the nations. And he asked them, and they went around. He went to Yishmael, went to Esau, and they said, "Ma kosaba, what's written in it?" And he said, "Don't steal, don't kill." So they said, "Well, we're not interested." Right? And then he went to the Jewish people, and they said, "Nasa v'nishma, we will do, and then we'll understand. We want to do it first." So I once heard a very nice word that when Hashem was asking the nations, do they want the Torah? He was kind of saying, there's something that's really hard for you. I'm going to really challenge you and ask you if you can overcome it. So they said, what's written in it? So he said, well, it's don't kill, don't steal. They couldn't overcome that particular quality because there was something very profound in that aspect of their reality. They couldn't overcome. So the Jewish people were asked, do you want the Torah? So what's like very hard for a Jew to do? To give up his opinion. You know, he's got his opinion. He wants to do it his way. You know, yes, the old, two Jews, three opinions. All of the, one shul, then the shul. I go to the shul. I don't go to, right? We're a very opinionated people. So when we said Nasa v'nishma, we said, no, we're not going to give our opinion. We'll do whatever you want. Which is kind of halfway a cute word, but halfway a very powerful word in a certain way. Okay, so I don't know if you have in front of you the sheets, how you have the yeah, you got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so what I want to do is, I want to use this as a springboard, because actually the piece is somewhat not random, but there are other things that I think it brings out some very, very important points that I think we'll try to jump off of, as opposed to, just staying with the piece. Sorry. Just 1 second. Sorry. Why is it not opening up magically to the page I need? Sorry about those guys. Yeah, okay. So it says, V'asisa chag shavuos l'Hashem Elokecha. So, again, I don't like doing this so much, but I'm going to skip the questions. Go to the second paragraph, just because I think there's some points that we want to get. Again, there's a lot of very good questions if we were going to learn the Chumash straight. It says this pasuk, there's that pasuk. I think for us, we're trying to get some basic ideas out of the parsha. The Yesh Lomer, the Hine b'chag Shavuos, Yesh they bo beis bechinas. There's two aspects of Shavuos, which actually we discussed before, more in terms of Omer, of leaving Mitzrayim and coming to Kabbalah Torah. Here it says something a little bit more. It says, first of all, Reishis hu Yom Tov b'chlal gimel haragolim chepezek v'sukas shem mikra kodesh. It says that obviously that there are three Yom Tovim, and one is Shavuos, included among Pesach and Sukkot. Dainu shekedushasa nimshechas ayidei Yisrael v'yisarusa d'lasata. So that aspect of Shavuos, like all Yom Tovim, comes through us. Let me just say to Rosa, do you hear like voices, a voice in the back of my voice listening to a shir? Is that distracting at all? No, you don't hear it. Great. Because I hear it a little bit. But if you don't, then I'm fine. So so Yom Tov always is histarusa the lasata, meaning we're the ones that create, that, so to speak, are the partners. Again, we don't create Kedusha, but we're the partners in the making of the Kedusha. We said Rosh Chodesh, therefore we said the Yom Tovim. For Od, that's one idea. Yeshbo Shehuzman Matan Torasein. There's another aspect of Shavuos, which is that it comes from top down. Which comes from Hashem down to us. Like we say, this is actually in Rosh Hashanah, from the heavens you made your voice heard. All the heavens opened up. We saw there's nobody besides Hashem. The Emsher, the Shum Ofen, Lahagia, a law of Al-Yidei Avodas Ha'odam, because there's no way of getting to the level of receiving Torah through our own doing. It's only because Hashem gave it to us. Right? And that's always important to know. There are certain things that we are expected to do and is in our hands, and certain things that are not expected to do. And in general, as I heard in the name of Rav Nosson recently, Rav Nosson says that in a certain way, we know that, of course, everything is in Hashem's hands. Rav Nosson was obviously Rav Nachman's main student. So Rav Nosson says that in a certain way, not in a certain way, we know everything is in Hashem's hands. Everything, right? Everything, our existence, the walls, everything. Everything's in Hashem's hands. On the other hand, the way that Hashem has set up this world, everything is in our hands. Right? We have to look at our life like everything was given to us. Everything is like was given over to us, and we're fully responsible. Right? That this world was given over to us. So we live with the paradox of it completely being given over to Hashem, because everything is in Hashem's, and it's also completely given over to us. So we live with this aspect of what we do and what Hashem does. What we do is Hisarusa de Lasata. What Hashem does is Hisarusa de Leila. Now, we always will have the feeling and the experience that Hashem is doing everything. But on the other hand, Hashem says, I want you to push yourself. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be, you're going to have to daven, you have to learn, you have to work in your midas. All of these things are in our hands. So Shavuos has both aspects in it. So before he goes on to how to work both of these out, he says, right? The Maisa Shabbos is all about Hashem bringing the Kedusha down here. It's not dependent on us. As you guys all know, and it's just an important thing to remember, Yom Tov is down here. It's the Kedusha that we make, and Hisarusa, and then Shabbos is the Kedusha, that, so to speak, that the Baishal makes, all right? So that's why when you ever have Shabbos Chol HaMoed, Slonim Rebbe in particular always draws attention to the fact that it's the meeting of the Jewish people and the Hashem in terms of our avoda touching his avoda. But Shabbos, in essence, we are just a mekablin, right? We just receive the kedusha that he gives us, and by Yom Tov, we, so to speak, create the kedusha. I have a special gift in my treasure house, my storehouse, my treasure house. The Shabbos Shema, it's called Shabbos. That means, what does it mean that it's a gift? It means that we don't have anything to do with Kedusha Shabbos. We don't get Kedusha Shabbos. Again, the bigger we'll make ourselves into a kli, and the more we'll be able to mekabel the gift, but we don't create Shabbos at all. The Gemara says, a little bit different than he spoke about last time, but this is the idea that Torah was given to Klal Yisrael Dafkan Shabbos, the Yevshel of all the Bechinas Matan Torah, Rak al Yidei Shabbos Kodesh, because again, like we discussed last time, Shabbos is the only way we can really connect to Shabbos, the Torah, is through Shabbos. Shigam came Hisarusa de Leila, because ultimately, the way that we connect to Torah is because it's coming down to us from above. Gam Yom Tov Rishon Shel Pesach Nikrid B'Shem Shabbos Mitam Zeh. This is a very important word, a very famous machlokas between the Chachamim and the Tzedukim, right? The Pasuk says when you machas the Shabbos, Tizbro Chamishim Yom. It says after Shabbos you should count 50 days, and the famous machlokas between the Tzedukim and the Chachamim. The Chachamim held that obviously the correct interpretation of Mimachas Shabbos means the day after Yom Tov. We start on the second day of Pesach, right? After Yom Tov of Pesach, then we start counting, and then we count 50 days. But the Tzedukim held after Shabbos, after Shabbos, right? However, the question is, if in fact the correct interpretation, which it is, means after Yom Tov, why do we say after Shabbos? Why does the Torah say when you want to count? Beginning of the Omer, start after Shabbos. Start after Yom Tov. Why doesn't the Torah be more specific? The Teretz is because the concept of Pesach at that point, in terms of the gift that Hashem gave us, was totally a gift. Was totally a gift from above. And that concept of totally a gift from above is the concept of Shabbos. So the first Yom Tov that we experienced, which was Pesach, was really in essence Shabbos. So that's why the Torah calls it Shabbos, because that's really what was going on. Even though it was Yom Tov on one hand, but on the other hand, the reality of how we were uplifted in Mitzrayim was really Shabbos, which is why the Torah calls it Shabbos. As far as the Shabbos, again, you should count after Shabbos. Well, the fish Hisarusa de Leila, the Gilish Shechina, since the Maisa, there was a big revelation. There was a big revelation of Hashem in the Shechina. The Shechina's Diluk, he jumped, he went past the normal rules, so to speak. Kol Dodi Hine Zebad Midaleg Alaharim, again Shir Shirim, the voice of my beloved, it's jumping over the mountains. Mikapetz Al Gavaos, again the same idea. He jumped on the level that he couldn't otherwise do it. Right? It was like a Malamin Teva. Okay, so that's the basic idea. It's the same concept that we have in Sfira. Shebehem va'al yadehem. It's the same thing. That's how we get to Kabbalas Torah. The same thing happens by counting the Omer. A pasuk was fartem lochem. One pasuk says you should count for yourselves Sheva Shabbosos Temimos Tihiyana. That's what it says. 7 complete weeks. Who connected Bechinas Kabbalas Torah b'Chag Shavuos. That's the idea of Kabbalas Torah that we have in Shavuos. Shehi b'Sarusa de La'ela. That's why it's called Sheva Shabbosos. You should know that there's a period, that there's an aspect of working towards Torah, connecting to Torah, which is above us. Bechinas Shabbos. B'Chanas Lezeh He Al Yedei Sheva Shabbosos Temimos Tihiyana. You have to be receiving the Shabbos, because that's sometimes the Torah calls it the 7 weeks, calls it Shabbos, right? So connecting to it in terms of that level of that process, it's called Sheva Shabbosos. The opposite Shiva Shavuos teach for a lot. You should count 7 weeks. Medabir b'hachana likras Yom Tov shel Chag Shavuos. So the Bible said, however, when it comes to counting 7 weeks, so that's Bechinas Mikra Kodesh. Then we count it a special, then we count it and call it a special day. Shui Sarusa L'Sata. Valkain Lo Kosev Shem Shabbosos. That's why it's not called Shabbosos. So it's a Gavaldic word. L'Maisa, it's called, there's 2 ways that we count. It's either we count as Sheva Shabbosos or Shiva Shavuos, right? It's either 7 Shabboses or 7 weeks. Why did the Torah do it like that? There it is, because when we count, there's an aspect of our counting which is above us. We have to realize that getting Torah and even working towards Torah is totally a gift, right? We say, for those of us that say this, when we count Sfira, there's a special tefillah, right? And through this, we should be masakin a certain quality, but we can't do that. We can work on it, but only the tikkun that happens can only happen through Hashem. So that's the aspect of Shabbosos, right? On the other hand, there's another answer that we do have to do that work, and that's called Sheva Shavuos. That's called the 7 weekdays. Now, that's what he says. I just want to take a pause, something he does not say over here. But in terms of when he brings these psukim originally, he says that the pasuk that tells us in the very beginning of the piece, if you look at the first paragraph in the very beginning, it says, in Vayikra, when the Torah first tells us about Shavuos and preparing ourselves, it says Sheva Shavuos. It says Sheva Shabbos, sorry. And then later on, if you'll see on the fourth line, it says in Parshas Re'eh Ksiv Shiva Shavuos Tisberloch, right? Then the 7 weeks. So according to the Nesivos Shalom, the Sheva Shabbosos refers to Shabbos. It refers to the gift that Hashem gives us. And then by Shiva Shavuos, it's talking about the work that we do. So he doesn't say this, but I want to make the following suggestion. There's 2 cycles of Yom Tovim, and the Torah describes them, and what he's saying over here fits into it very well, in my opinion. There's a certain aspect of Yom Tov, the Bansham gives us a certain Kedushas, gives us Kedushas Pesach, gives us Kedushas Shavuos, Kedushas Sukkot. And then there's the work that we do. When we, in Sefer Devarim, that's the Sefer that Moshe Rabbeinu is telling the Jewish people of all the things they're going to have to do when they go into Eretz Yisrael. He's preparing us. It's the shmooze that we get before we go into Eretz Yisrael. So since that's the shmooze that we're going to be getting before we go into Eretz Yisrael, so it's very appropriate. So that psukim, which should be talking about Shiva Shavuos, it's going to be talking about the 7 weeks of a Shavuot, which means that's going to be talking about our avoda. Because our avoda is the avoda of the week. Right? Hashem's avoda, which is back in Vayikra, which is where he's creating and he's telling us how to create an environment of Kedusha, that's Sheva Shabbos. So I don't know if I'm right, but if it is a possibility, then it would be a very big opening to understand Devarim in general. Again, I'm only throwing it out as a possibility. I don't think it's way off. I would even have, I think if Hirsch says something like this, I don't know if he brings it in this particular case, but if the Sefer Devarim is all the preparation for our avoda, so that all the Torah before first is like Hashem's avoda, and then lahavdil, it's our avoda. I want to make one other point that I was thinking. I'll tell you what I thought about today. Mash mentioned this on the shir yesterday. Mash mentioned the famous question of Tosis in the Gemara in Shabbos, that the Jewish people, they wanted to give the Torah. It says Ma Kosovo. What's written in it? I'm sorry. I'm saying. He said, do you want the Torah? He said, yeah. Nasav and Ishma. And then the Gemara says, the Gemara says that Moshe was going to give the Torah, so Kavaleim Hargagikas. He put the Merrill over the ham. He says, if you want to take it, great. And if not, Shamte Tzubroskim. You'll get buried. And Tosa says over there, but they said Nasav and Ishma. So there's a number of terutzim. Question of the Torah Shabbal Peh, Torah Shabbat. That's how Tosa says it. The Maharal, the way the Mash said it yesterday, was a different teretz. It's a very important teretz. Let me just go a little slowly on the Maharal's teretz, but it's super important. And even though the Mash says it, but it's really worth repeating. The question again is, the Gemara in Shabbos says that the Baal Shem held the mountain over our head. Tosus asks, why do you have to hold the mountain over our head? We said Nasa v'nishma. The Maharal says that there's an aspect of Torah of wanting Torah. There's an aspect of Torah that you have to. It's like, that's reality. Like standing on a track with a train, just rushing. Do you want to get off the track? Or, there's no bechira at that point. There's no bechira, there's a person one. And there's a certain level that we relate to Torah where there's no bechira. There's a certain aspect. Again, in general, it's a more subtle and a more mature level of Torah, but Torah is, we do it because the Baal says so. Now, that's a Maharal says. But I was thinking, based on this Nesivos Shalom, maybe a little different shot. How do we get the Isarusa de la Ela? How do we get this stirring up from above? So we all know, and I'm sure we've all had these experiences, that certain weeks you work mamish very hard, challenging, this and that, and you get to Shabbos and you're like, oh. And Shabbos takes over in a way that isn't like in a normal week. It just has this it's just like, oh, like you slide into home plate and you're just like, wow, good to go. All Shabbos is hopefully always great, but there are certain weeks where we feel like we pushed, it was hard, it was challenging, and Shabbos is like a different. So we become a different sort of kli depending on the challenges we've gone through and the growth that we've had to do during that week. So I think I'm going to just suggest the reason that we got the mountain over our head is because we said Nasa v'Nishma. Because us down here, us little guys, we have to show our willingness and our desire to keep Torah and to fulfill Torah, to live with the Torah. That's Nasa v'Nishma, right? But the response that Hashem gives is, oh, you really want it? So now I'm going to give it from up here. And the up here is going to be, you're in. We're having a relationship. This is forever. We're connected. But that was the response of our Hisarusa de Lasata, meaning our wanting it merited us. It got us the gift of the mountain being held over our head. Because that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted the mountain over our heads. And we got it through Nasa v'Nishma. So our stirring ourselves up is like that, preparing ourselves for Shabbos, putting in extra effort, and then Shabbos becomes like a whole different thing. So our preparing ourselves as the people and saying, Hashem, we really, really want Torah. So Hashem says, okay, good. I'm going to hang it over your head. What could be better? Okay, it's just it's an observation. I don't think it's unreasonable. But again, it's this.
Beautiful.
What's that?
Beautiful.
You like the word? Yeah, thank you. No, I think it fits. I really think it I really think it's like, Emma's dick. I think it really fits. But again, this tension between what we do and what Hashem does is something that we always play with. Because, there's often a sense of people kind of like, well, why did you do that? Or I'm not doing what I know I'm not doing what I should be doing. So we balance constantly this tension between our avoda and Hashem's giving to us, right? And we're always kind of like challenged between those two things. And really, ultimately, our job is not to say, Hashem, what are you doing and why are you doing it? That's not our job at all. Our job is to do our job and to just do our part of it. Hashem said, you can do it. I'm sending you out. You got a job. And don't be focused on what am I going to be giving from up here down to you. You think about what you're going to be doing down here up to me. As an aside, I want to tell you, this is a little bit of an aside. I do want to get back to the piece. I'll tell you a great vort. This is one of these vorts. You keep it in your front pocket. Certain vorts you put in your back pocket. Certain vorts you put in your front pocket. This is a front pocket vort. The Sfas Emes says that when the Moshe Rabbeinu sent the spies to Eretz Yisrael, so they came back with a report and they said, we can't do it. It's not possible. Giants and scare, whatever. It was just, and then on a certain level, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. So Hashem said, I didn't ask you. It wasn't the question of like, can you do it? I sent you. You wanted to have spies. You wanted to see what the land is like. That wasn't the medubar here. It wasn't what we were discussing. We're discussing how to do it, not if, just how. So he says, Sfas Emes says, every neshama is brought down into this world, and he has a shlichus. He's a spy. He's a shliach. And he's sent into this world to do a job. And often as not, we think, I can't do it. How in the world can I possibly do what Hashem expects of me? And Hashem says, so to speak, in the same way he told the Meraglim, I'm not asking you if. The only question is how. So he says to each one of us, not a question of if, it's a question of how. Each one of us can do it. Even though we can't, sometimes we literally can't imagine. How can we do what Hashem really wants? How is it possible? There is this, that's not the kasha. Hashem says, that was the reason the Meraglim stayed in the Midbar. because they got the wrong question. So Hashem said, you're going to need 40 years until you're going to have new children. And they're going to get the right question. Not if, but how. So by us also, the question is going to be not if, but how. That's the Sfas Emes. Again, right over here. Just got to keep it right there. Okay? Let's go back to our piece. Okay. Any questions, comments? Right.
Yeah, that was a great way to sum it up. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. But that's it. Again, so again, we're always looking in relationship. See, there's so much to be said in this piece. It's just like hard to know how much to say inside. We've gone through this 2,000. It's just such a big yesod about what Hashem does for us, what we do for Hashem Kiviyochem. The Gemara says in Sanhedrin. I may repeat some of this during our shirim if we have more shirim. We'll see what happens. Whatever. It says in Gemara in Sanhedrin. I think it says in other places too, that there's 7,000 years of history, 2,000 years of emptiness, 2,000 years of Torah, 2,000 years of Mashiach. And then the 7,000th year is Shabbos. So 2,000 years is Tov V'Vohu, emptiness. That was until Abram came onto the scene. Hashem was looking for a partner, someone to work with, someone who's going to want to be connected to him and want to put in the work that it takes to really have a deep and meaningful and ultimate connection to Hashem. Then there's 2,000 years of Torah. That's basically from Avraham Avinu until the end of the second base of Mikdash, Berach. And that's a time where Hashem is, so to speak, smiling at us. Even though there's better times, worse times, but in general, we have the base of Mikdash, Eretz Yisrael. In general, and then the 2,000 years of Mashiach. The question is, what does it mean, 2,000 years of Mashiach? So I heard from my Rebbe, Rabbi Israel Talber Zatzal, that the 2,000 years of Mashiach is the chassan trying to see if the Kal is really committed. And he is not going to make it easy. Because the chassan knows if the Kal stays strong, it's going to be forever and forever. So therefore, the challenges are very great because he wants to see if they're really committed. So in that time, the focus is, how do we give birth? How do we keep going? How do we overcome? How do we keep continuing? And it's not a time where we say, Hashem, where is it? Where's it coming from, right? Like, what are we supposed to be doing? We don't look. We look to ourselves, so to speak. And that's one of the remarkable things. We say, Slach lanu, Mechal lanu. We have Yom Kippur. And you could easily say, like, aren't we trying? Like, why, there are plenty of people who at a certain point say, like, Hashem, but that's not how Jews live for the last 2,000 years. We live with the hope, but the knowledge that we have to do our part. How's it going to turn out? So that's Amunah. Amunah means we don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know how it's going to turn out, but it's going to be good. Amunah means we don't see it, but it's going to be good. So we see partially, but it's going to be good. But then again, that's the constant tension and dance between our relationship with Hashem in terms of what we expect from Him, so to speak, and so to speak, what He expects from us and what we expect from ourselves also. The baby is going to be Mashiach. Basically, this whole birth pang is all about Mashiach. Mashiach's the baby. Right? That's what it's called, the birth pang of the birth pangs of Mashiach, because the baby is going to be Mashiach. The Mashiach is going to be all of those untold billions of challenges and mitzvahs and Torah that all wrapped up into one. So we don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to be remarkable. Again, it's all part of that same challenge, though. Let's go a little further. Okay. Rak b'parshas Emor ksiv haloshin tamimos. It says only they're complete. Masha ein came b'parshas Re'eh. Why? Kevan shabos v'dam ein yochel b'shum ofen lahagia ba'avodaso. There's no way that a person can come to his avoda b'sha'achon tiyeh b'tachas hashleimus b'bechinas tamimos. Who could say about his avoda It's going to be complete. I'm going to do everything right. Who could say such a thing? The Hashem could make everything. Hashem could bring a completion, a perfection, a greatness. That's why by Emor, when we're preparing for Torah, it says it says bring a new mincha. What does that mean? The Musaf al Kabbalah Torah. The new mincha means there's going to be a whole new world. So Ariel Shtei Lechem Kosev Parsha Sha'achazeh Emoshva Sechem Taviu Lechem Tanufa Shtayim. Bring two breads. Elichem Arumas Bezeh. What's hinted over here is Al Inyan Kabbalah Torah. Shenikra is Mincha Chadosha. The Torah itself is called like a mincha. It's a new gift. Shebechol Yom Diya Beinechet Chadosha, because it should be new. Shebechol Yom Yeshna Kabbalah Torah. It's always like a whole new Torah. Mincha Chadosha she'al Yehudi lohachin. A Yid has to prepare himself. She'tamid tiyeh etzlo a Torah Chadosha. It always should be new. Asher ein came with parties re'ei lo kasuv rak lo ksiv rak chag hashu. It doesn't say perfect because it can't be complete over there. There's no way in our avoda we say such a thing. We do our best, but nobody can get it 100%. The Alpi Yavor Gam Lama Nikra Chag Hashvuos Lo Chag Hashabbosos. Yaakov, it is. So the Maisa, if in fact ultimately we're relying on Hashem, that He's going to be giving us all of the lights and all of the understandings, so it should be called the Chag Hashabbosos. Right? Why are we calling it Chag Hashavuos? Chag Shavuos is our doing, and we can't complete anything. So we just make our hishtadlus. We make our effort. To who al derech hatam the Chag Pesach nikra b'Torah Chag Matzos v'lo b'shem Pesach. Same thing. The famous word that why we call the Yom Tov of Passover, we call it Chag Matzos and not in the name of Pesach. Mishum shepesach mora al yisarusa de la'ela. Because Pesach means what Hashem did for us. Hashem jumped over the houses, so to speak. And by matzah means what we did. We gave up everything. We didn't have time for our bread to arrive. From the Haggadah, they didn't prepare food. The Bible says, look what Klal Yisrael did. To tell their praise. Nikra Chag HaMatzos. I remember when you were the chesed you did when you were young. You came after me when you were mamash akala. Lechtech acharei b'midbar. Came after me the midbar. So that's a famous word, which you and I have heard before. Excuse me. The Kamal Kain, that's what he's saying, the Chiddush over here. The Inyan Chag HaShavuos, by Shavuos, the Inyan HaShabbosos, or Ali Sarusa de La'ela. Again, that's Hashem making Shabbos, making it complete, making a quality of Shabbos, which is where He's giving to us. He doesn't want to count it like that. That's not what He's going to call the Hag. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Chavetz L'Yatzo Al Chag Shmam Yisrael wants to call it on our name. L'kach Nikra B'Torah Chag HaShavuos Al Shem Yisrusa de L'Sata. Right? So that's a good word to remember. You can say this one by the Shabbos table when you go or Yom Tov. You can say for Shavuos that it's the same way it's Pesach and Matzah. It's Shabbosos and Shavuos, and Hashem counts it Shabbos Shavuos, and He counts the Yom Tov, calls the Yom Tov Shavuos because of our effort. It's the same way that He calls it Chag HaMatzos. Let's see if we can finish this off. Why is it in Emor? Is it plural? Because the Ma'aseh says, Chazal tell us, the Chasna was Matan Torah, the Hainusha Chag HaKodesh Hazeh, Hu Bebechinas Nisuin. It was like getting married to the Baishlam. The Shazu HaMedrega, he lawyers Beyoser, it's mamish the highest levels. Shegia Eleh Ha'am HaNivchar Matan Torah. That's the highest that Klal Yisrael reached. This idea of Nisuan, of marriage, is also by Shabbos. Because the East of a Medrash, the Medrash tells you, the very famous Medrash. Amra Shabbos, everybody's got a pair. Sunday has Monday, Tuesday has Wednesday, right? Everybody's got a pair. But Li, Ainli Zug, I have no partner. The mice, you're going to marry Klal Yisrael. The Meru is Balashem, Knes Yisrael. When the Medrash calls us Knes Yisrael, that's a phrase which is very well used in certain surah. You can't get married to one person. All the Klal Yisrael has to get married to the Baishlam. The Filu b'madrigos of Hagavos, even the highest level. In a Yochid Mesugala Agil, the Dargi Eloi Zu shall Nisuan. No individual by themselves can get to the level of Nisuan. Moshe Rabbeinu can't get to the level of Nisuan. Ben Zu. Only Klal Yisrael. Barak b'koach harabim, that happens only with all of us together. Kamaima Rabbeinu Kadoshim, the Pirish Knes Yisrael, Ben Zugacha, that's the idea that Knesset will be your partner. Rak al Yadesh Yisrael mischansim biyachad, since we came all together, kish echad ben zug shall Shabbos kodesh. Right? That's the idea that we're all together. Similarly, the son of Kabbalah Satara, shebechaga Shavuos, ain't a yochid mesugo masiga. No individual can reach that level. Ki'im al Yadei usfartam lechem. Pirish b'koach harabim. You got to go with the rabbin. I just want to tell you today. Both sides. I was davening with the minyan today, and after we have all had our experiences of davening alone, and I don't know how it was for you, but davening alone for me was very geschmack. I was like, oh, this is all about talking to Hashem, and it was for me again. I'm not saying that I didn't miss the minyan, but there was something very special about it, and it was Baruch Hashem. I got such a gift today by Mariv. It was Hashem wants us to daven with everybody there and to know that we're davening as a unit called a tzibor. And when I'm davening, I'm not davening alone. I'm davening with Klal Yisrael. I'm davening with a miniature Klal Yisrael that's called 10 people. And only Hashem could tell me that that's called a miniature Klal Yisrael. But I'm davening, and if I don't have in my head that I'm not davening alone with 9 other people, but I'm davening with 10 people and I'm one of the 10, that I don't think I've really connected properly to the tefillah. So I had a feeling today, Baruch Hashem, which was really a gift of like in the same way that I had, we've all had time to be by ourselves and to kind of reconnect to just the fact that we're talking to Hashem. And now I think it's important to keep in mind while we do our davening, even though when we're in our minyanim, hopefully. But on top of that, I think now that we're coming back, I think there's a lesson to relearn of we are part of a bigger unit. We are part of something bigger, and we should experience that. So it's not just Shlomi and Ruvain and and Ralph, but we're all connected into one unit, right? So that one unit is what receives Torah. When it says that we should call it Kodesh, we should make it Kodesh, that's down to us. Every individual can make it Kodesh. He can create a Kedusha. Count 7 weeks. You need the Rabbim, and you need the individual, both the collective and the individual. Okay, now Yisrael b'leiv echad, kish echad. That's on again. It's the same idea that we all get connected to one. Ki rak b'koach harabim, kish Yisrael muchadim b'leiv echad, kish echad. Only then when we're mamish connected, rak as efshel agil l'kabbalas Torah. Again, so we have the tzibur, the yochid. Excuse me. We have the tzibur, we have the yochid, we have Hashem doing it from above, doing down here, and always being aware of that parallel of what we can do, what we hope for Hashem to do for us. And as we go into Kabbalas Torah, I heard that they have these beautiful little messages now that they send around from what's his name? Melech Peterman. He said a lovely story about a young man who was a very, very average student. You saw that? You saw it, Howie? You saw that story?
Yeah.
Lovely story.
Avarava. Yeah.
He said, you say Avarava,
Sure
you
was.
give your whole heart. But there are really a lot of stories like that. A lot of stories, and I think a lot of stories happened in the Neve too, where guys were like, how are they going to connect to Torah? And you might say, we put our heart into it. And that's what we have to have. Same b'libeinu. Lahavin, lahaskil, lishmo, lilmo, lamed, lishmo is kol divrei Torah sechel b'Abba. Hashem should help. We should mamish connect deeply to Torah. We should love His Torah. We should be mekayim His Torah. You guys should have a very inspiring Shavuos. We should be makabel. All the lights of Torah. And Hashem, hopefully, will all of us be Ke'ish echad, b'lev echad, all reunited together back in Yerushalayim.
Amen.
I just feel like I should say, give my Akaras Tov. I bought an apartment in Yerushalayim today.
You bought?
Oh, Mazel Tov.
I bought an apartment in Yerushalayim.
Wow.
I sold Telstone and I bought in Yerushalayim. Today we went to contract and I was like, it hasn't really hit me, but like, Rashi didn't buy an apartment in Yerushalayim, and it's just Ma'ashiv Hashem, Kol Tag Me'olai. So I just feel like there's a mitzvah to give thanks and mention that to others about the thanks. Anyway, so you guys will hopefully be able to visit. We'll do a little forbringing, and it's a show.
Mazel Tov, congrats. It should be with a lot of bracha.
Amen. Thank you all, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Okay, good. So we'll be hopefully
It was a great week.
you too. And I'm going to have a great Yom Tov. Okay. Thanks.
Rob, do you think, should we do this tomorrow okay for you, or you want to keep up in the camp?
Because this whole thing of the buying and the selling has been kind of
Yeah, sure, okay.
All right? But keep trying.
Okay,
Keep trying.
Okay.
Okay. There you
You got it. Okay, have a good